What? You just answer me now.
I just...
Look into my eyes. Did you had sex with another woman
I
there?
don't know what I remember.
If you don't remember, that means yes.
Isn't it fascinating how someone will fake amnesia rather than taking responsibility for their actions? Like, come on Kyle, spit it out, face the music. You've had sex behind Annie's back with multiple women, not just the one that you're being quizzed about.
So, I won't be in a relationship where I kept in the dark. Yes or no, it's not that difficult.
Yes or no? It really shouldn't be difficult, but then again, this is Kyle that we're talking about. This guy is unique. Now, before we dive into all of this mess, let's have a quick catch up on how we got here.
Yesterday, my boyfriend Kai arrived in Malta to meet me in person for the first time. I'm really excited to see him.
So Kyle has finally made it to Malta to meet his online sweetheart of the last 7 months, Ani. But the guy is a walking red flag. You see, Kyle's hobby is sperm donation, and he claims to have a whopping 71 kids worldwide. Now, unlike conventional fertility clinics, Kyle offers an added extra. He offers all ladies the chance to have straight up natural intercourse to apparently enhance the odds of success. And as if that wasn't enough, within literally minutes of landing in Malta, Kyle, who by his own admission has only really ever dated 2 other women before, has decided it's a good idea to introduce a weird points reward system into his new relationship. In order to receive rewards, such as a kiss or sexual intercourse, Annie needs to earn reward points. Yeah, this is bizarre. And perhaps the real question that we're all asking here is, why the heck is Annie not running for her life?
Our first meetup was a bit odd, but since we dated online for 7 months, I will still give it a chance.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to stop you there, Annie, because the sunk cost fallacy, sticking around just because you've already stuck around for 7 months, isn't going to magically make things suddenly get better. I think we've got the makings here of one of the wildest couples, or at least one of the wildest characters in 90 Day history. Now, what complicates matters somewhat is that Annie already has a child from a past relationship, and she's also fast approaching 40 years old. In fact, that's part of the reason that these two first met. Annie first reached out to Kyle because of his sperm services. So knowing what his hobby is, and given her circumstances in life, I can't help but wonder, is this really the best that she can get? Wouldn't she be better off with literally any other guy, rather than someone who travels the world impregnating women as a hobby?
I can tend to get bored easily by normal guys because every day is so predictable. While with a person like Kyle, it's more interesting.
Well, to each their own, I guess. I'm not here to rain on anyone's parade. But what I would say is it's a pretty giant leap going from wanting a unpredictable relationship to ending up with someone like Kyle. Someone who seems to have some kind of god complex, who seems to revel in the fact that he has 71 kids around the world as a result of his highly questionable, possibly illegal sperm services. Yeah, surely there's a more balanced middle ground that she could have chosen. Like, just think about this for a second, Annie. Do you really want to commit to someone whose entire life is based around questionable sperm donation?
Because excess coffee is bad for your sperm. So
I know that you're always trying to be healthy, and also you're eating a lot of vitamin pills. How many you take?
Like 20 vitamins.
Everything about Kyle, from what he puts into his body to what he wears, where he goes, how he even takes a shower, is all to do with his sperm production. He claims he has super sperm, the most potent sperm known to mankind.
The average sperm count was around, I think, 44 million per milliliter. My sperm count is 242 million per milliliter. It's astronomically really good sperm count.
And to maintain this sperm count, his entire life revolves around his testicles. His testicles take centre stage, literally.
While he's talking to me, I notice Kyle continually touches his balls or his penis.
I mean, that is wild. When Ani said that she hoped he might loosen up a little when they went sightseeing, I don't think that's what she meant. His behaviour so far has been remarkably bad, and they're only on day 2. His lack of self-awareness, his lack of basic manners is really off-putting. Like, where does he think he is? Why on earth is he sat there just constantly touching himself? It's creepy.
Why you always touch them?
Because sitting down too much kills your sperm. So I try to adjust them so they're not like get overheated.
Is that the reason why you're wearing shorts, to keep your balls cool?
This is really worrying. In fact, it's so worrying that most normal people would have run a mile by now. It really makes me question whether Annie's just sticking around hoping for his sperm. Like, genuinely, at this point, it's hard to find any, not even a single redeeming characteristic or feature about the guy. His whole life seems to be about his sperm. But sperm or not, super donator or not, I don't care. Fondling yourself in public isn't okay. So again, I'll ask it again. Why the hell is Ani entertaining the idea of a relationship with this guy?
When we got serious in our relationship and he told me that he loves me, I assumed that he would stop donating, or I would at least assume that he would stop donating sperm through sex.
Yeah, I think it's an implicit assumption, a safe assumption, that once Kyle committed to you, then he'd stop with certain, extracurricular activities. Especially ones as sketchy as sperm donation through intercourse. Does it really need to be said that once you're official with your partner, you don't want them to sleep with other women? Like, does Kyle even fully understand? Does he appreciate how messed up that is?
Annie knew what she was getting into when she contacted me. Like, she knew what I was about, and I've never told her I stopped donating.
You'd think that after 71 kids, Kyle might start rethinking, reevaluating his life choices. Now, yes, granted, it's true that Ani knew about the whole sperm donation thing from the start. That's how they met. But I'm baffled at how he still thinks his hobby will work once he's in a committed relationship. Now, keep in mind, Kyle doesn't even get paid for his services. He donates his super sperm for free. So it's not like he's doing this to make ends meet. It's not for the money. He's doing this because he wants to. But that's the problem. By doing this, it's a massive lack of respect to his partner. And on that topic, it's about to get a whole lot worse.
Kai was in Australia for a few weeks last month, and I've been nervous to ask what he was really doing there.
Now, Ani isn't naive to this. She knows that Kyle travels mainly for donations. She knows that that often involves intercourse with his clients. But she is clearly nervous at knowing the answer to how many people her partner has got pregnant on his latest vacation. Given that we've just seen Kyle preparing for a natural insemination in London right before flying out to Malta, it's safe to assume that it's not just Australia that she has reason to worry about. But for some reason, Kyle seems less than forthcoming about the truth.
I can see you getting really nervous with this topic. Okay, so did you have sex with someone in Australia to donate?
I don't know what I did there.
Oh, come on, Kyle. Is that really the way you want to play this? Are you really claiming that you have no recollection at all of your actions in Australia? Who are you trying to fool, mate? I mean, it's rather difficult to believe that someone who abstains from drugs and alcohol in order to boost their sperm count would suffer a lapse in memory like that. Perhaps you might need to go and get yourself checked out. We can all see that he's very inexperienced at being in a relationship, but surely even he can see that being honest with your partner is the only way that this stands even the remotest chance of working out. Just be honest.
What? You just answer me now.
I just...
Look into my eyes. Did you have sex with another woman?
I don't know what I remember.
If you don't remember, that means yes.
Annie's handling this whole situation remarkably well, even with Kyle trying to gaslight her. Kyle's acting so shady, and he can't even be bothered to give Ani a straight answer. I mean, at this point, why is she still there? What does she still see in him? It really doesn't take a genius to see through his selective amnesia. Everyone can see he obviously slept with a client in Australia. So just own it, Kyle. Say the truth.
Yeah. I've had intercourse to get somebody pregnant in Australia.
Wow, Kyle, I'm so glad that your temporary amnesia has now gone away. Everything about Kyle's behaviour is so off. I'm curious when he'll muster up the courage to come clean about what happened in London just a day or two before. I suspect that Annie's not going to react lightly to that.
I think I have a much different relationship to sex. When I have sex with someone, usually it's to get pregnant, and it's more professional, it's boring. I don't view it as cheating at all.
Ah, the words that every girl dreams of hearing. For me, it's not cheating when it's to conceive. How romantic, right? Annie, trust me, you're so much better off without this guy. He's not worth the headache. It's abundantly clear that Kyle isn't thinking about what's best for your relationship. This guy has a god complex. His sole concern is about how many offspring he can produce around the world with as many different women as possible.
I do want Annie to be happy, and I want to try everything I can to make her happy. But donating sperm is the most important thing in my life.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if the top priority in your boyfriend's life is impregnating other women, sorry, but he's not boyfriend material. I just can't see how their relationship's gonna last when he shows no signs of stopping, even when he's in a committed relationship. I mean, it's hardly an ideal start for laying a foundation together. How do they expect to endure when Kyle globetrots, leaving a trail of pregnancies behind?
It's a weird thing if you're in a relationship to go somewhere and have sex with other women. If we're deciding, okay, we want to be in a serious relationship, I cannot do this, you know.
I admire Annie for standing her ground and asserting herself. Kyle can't reasonably expect any partner to just be okay with him jetting around the world and impregnating other women. Now, from what we've seen of Kyle so far, literally everything about him smells like trouble. These two are on totally different wavelengths. Annie's drawing a line in the sand, and Kyle is sticking to his guns. This doesn't look too promising.